back to factoring before we were so rudely interrupted by the Apple Pencil issues. Let's look at another example of a does not equal 1. So let's look at 9x cubed minus 56x squared plus 12x. Okay, first thing I look for is a GCF. I've looked to see if they're divisible by 3, but I see 5 plus 6 is 11. And 11 is not divisible by 3, therefore I know that 56 is not divisible by 3. So that means the only thing that these terms all have in common is x. So we're going to factor out x, get 9x squared minus 56x plus 12. And now we're going to factor what's on the inside. So we're going to multiply the first and the last term. It's 108x squared. I'm just going to start listing factors that multiply to 108. And I just kind of start easy. 2, 54. Oh, hey, look, we did it. Best day ever. Those both have an x on them to get the x squared. And because my a equals 9 in this case, I cannot use the shortcut. So my x from the GCF is going to stay out front. And then I'm going to do 9x squared plus 2x plus, well, I guess these both have to be negative actually. So let's redo that. Okay, minus 2x minus 54x plus 12. Okay, and it doesn't matter which order you write it. If you decided to do minus 54 and then minus 2, that's fine as well. And I actually think I might switch that because 54 and 9 would actually factor out a little bit easier. So I'm going to go minus 54x minus 2x. So now when I cut those in half, that x stays up front. Because now I can factor out 9x from both of these to get x minus 6. And on the right side, I can factor out a negative 2 and get x minus 6. Hey, they're the same. That means we did it correctly. This GCF stays out front, so I get x. And now I'm going to do, these two are going to come together to do 9x minus 2. And then those are both being multiplied times x minus 6. Okay, our last example is with a difference of squares. So this was something like x squared minus 9. And with difference of squares, we could rewrite this to do x squared plus 0x minus 9. Factor those. Oh, it's positive 3 and negative 3, and there's the shortcut x minus 3 times x plus 3. But we can, that's already pretty quick, but we can go even faster, because I could do like an x squared minus 25. Well, difference of squares, difference meaning subtraction, there's a difference there. And of squares meaning I have two terms. Hey, x squared is really, x being squared. 25 is 5 being squared. So really all we're doing here is we're taking the square root, and I can get x plus 5 and x minus 5. One of them has to be plus and one of them has to be minus to account for that adding to 0 and that it was the negative right there. So this happens anytime, difference of squares happens anytime it's ax squared minus c. That is a difference of squares. So even if there's a coefficient there, 4x squared minus, I don't know, what do you want to minus to? 81. Oh, well, the square root of, I see it's a difference. I see it's an ax squared minus c. Well, the square root of 4x squared is 2x, and 81 is 9. So 2x plus 9, 2x minus 9. One more just for good measure. If I did 4x squared minus 100, please be careful, because what's the first thing you're supposed to look for? GCF. Oh, well, they all have 4 in common. X squared minus 25. Oh, see how that changed things? X plus 25, X minus 25. There you go.